Get ready to talk some baseball, football, and hockey today on The Huddle. Happy Friday, everybody. I am your host, Maya Perez, and right now I am joined by Benjamin Hudeshell, Justin Young, and Jeremiah Skillman. The month of October has just begun, and typically it is recognized as the start of autumn, but for us sport fans, we know it as the start of playoff baseball. Going into the playoffs, it's safe to say Shohei Ohtani has a strong lead in the NL MVP race, but on the flip side, the AL MVP contest is a battle between the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh, and the New York Yankees' Aaron Judge. Jeremiah, who are you taking as your AL MVP?
Oh, for my AL MVP, I'm taking Aaron Judge. There's no doubt about it.
I have to agree with you, Jeremiah. I mean, if you simply look at it, the main argument for Raleigh here is that he has 60 homers. Not only is that not that much more than Judge, but he's only hit 49 of those 60 homers as a catcher. The other 11 has come when he's designated hitting. And that, quite frankly, is not that impressive to me.
I mean, this guy's a catcher. This is one of the most physically demanding positions of any of them, right? Judge is a right fielder. I mean, you know, you kind of expect it out of a right fielder. He's put up seasons like this before, but it's nothing special.
Sure, but if you look at Raleigh's 7.3 B WAR versus Judge's 9.7, there's a clear difference, and that is comparing them to a replacement level AAA player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also you got to look at the batting percentage, the batting average. Aaron Judge is batting a 330 versus Cal, who's doing a 247. Aaron Judge has been over 300 almost all season long.
I don't know if batting average really matters that much anymore, right? I think that it's kind of a pointless stat now. We're kind of starting to shift away from that and statistics.
I have to agree with you there, but I will say there is a stat that accounts for that, OPS plus, which also accounts for Judge playing in an easier stadium than Raleigh. But Judge even then has a 215 OPS plus. Raleigh just has a 169 OPS plus for the 2025 season. I don't think there's a single aspect that Raleigh's better than Judge in.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough. I don't know if there's really a clear difference on the players. I mean, I think that, you know, Raleigh playing catcher. I think that Raleigh plays in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and it's a lot harder to hit there. He's got to play catcher too, got to hit and then immediately get back on defense. Whereas Judge, I mean, he just kind of stands there, right in the outfield. I mean, he only played 95 games in right field this year. Only completed 85 of them. Cal Raleigh started 121 games at catcher and completed 119.
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys also got to think, Aaron Judge has been intentionally walked 36 times. If we are being real, 36 times, out of all 36, he probably has 10 homers out of that. So if you add those, he's closer, and then what? What's the debate then?
Once again, I really don't see an argument for Raleigh here. Yes, he plays the more physically demanding position, but even then, Judge still isn't a way above average outfielder, especially for his size. I think that's way more impressive than Raleigh taking some games off at the catcher position, only playing about 75% of his team's games at the catcher position.
Going back to your intentionally walked, I mean, you know, the Yankees got Bellinger batting third and Stanton batting fourth. Right, I mean, you got to pitch to one of them, whereas Cal Raleigh, you got to pitch to him. I mean, he's got, what, Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, and J.P. Crawford. I mean, those guys aren't anybody compared to Bellinger and Stanton.
Yeah, but I mean, still, though, at the end of the day, like, just in general, overall, like, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. And it's called most valuable player, not most valuable teammate. Who cares if Raleigh's doing that for a Seattle Mariners team when Judge is doing it on a Yankees team that, quite frankly, has 10 players with an OPS plus above 100, and he still is the clear leader of that group.
Right, but this guy's taken the Mariners, what, they missed the playoffs last year?
They did miss the playoffs last year.
Right, this guy's taking this Mariners team that, you know, what, they made the playoffs once since 2001. You know, this guy's leading the team. He is their best player.
Yeah, but it's not the rebuilt from 2024 MVP. It's the 2025 MVP. And if you look who's been the most valuable in 2025, it is clearly Aaron Judge.
Has to be.
Absolutely.
I know, it's tough.
It's not tough.
It is tough.
I don't think it's that tough.
I don't think it's a battle at all.
No.
I mean, Judge is first in average, on-base percentage, his sluggish, his OPS, his WAR, his BIP. Like, yeah, but, you know, you understand. But I'm just saying, though, he's leading in almost every stat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Raleigh played 1,100 innings at catcher compared to Judge's 820 in right field. I mean, that's got to count for something, right? This guy's playing.
It counts for him playing average catcher defense. He's not even above average like he was last year. He's just been an average catcher, which is still completely valuable to a team, but it's not the most valuable player in the American League. This is 2025. Aaron Judge has shown his value. He deserves that award.
You also got to add in, Aaron Judge has been a dog ever since for years. This isn't like a first season that he's done this and put these stats up. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's a debate at all. Well, if my vote counted, I'm going Aaron Judge.
I have to agree. I mean, simply put, I think he's just been the most valuable player in the American League.
I gotta go Raleigh. I mean, this guy's a catcher. It's not expected of him. Usually you get one catcher, or you usually get a defensive catcher, get an offensive catcher. But to be average at catcher,
yeah.
we'll see.
No, speaking of catching, he will be catching for the Mariners in the playoffs. And quite frankly put, I think the Yankees got the American League kind of on a tee.
Same, I agree.
I know they didn't win the division, but you still look, once again, as I aforementioned, they have the 10 players with an OPS plus of 100 or higher. That is insane depth. And you got a pretty solid three-man rotation of Fried, Rodon, and Schlittler. They can kind of get you all the way to the end. Their bullpen has been better of late. I know Devin Williams was a little bad, to put it lightly, earlier in the year. But he's been good. Luke Weaver is still a solid guy. David Bednar was a huge acquisition at the trade deadline.
Yes, I agree. And then if we were to switch it to the other side, I'm going to Phillies.
I have to agree, yeah. You got to look, especially at our depth as well. Sure, maybe the power numbers weren't quite there for, say, a Trey Turner or someone like that. But we had 10 players with at least 10 home runs. That is insane depth. That is more than you can field in one game. And obviously, Christopher Sanchez, probably runner-up Cy Young season. He finished first in the National League in WAR with 8.0. And him and Luzardo both got 200 strikeouts. They're a crazy duo in the postseason. Yeah.
I have to disagree. I think the Brewers are clearly the best team in the National League. I mean, they've been leading the entire division the entire year. They had 13 games and 13-game lead in April. No, that's not right.
Well. I'm sorry, but that's all the time we have. I mean, I think we just have to wait until
just gotta wait and see.
It gets closer and more games happen, and we just got to play it out at the end of the day. Best of luck to all of our teams, but only one can win.
Yep, then it'll be the Phillies.
It'll be the Dodgers.
Definitely won't be any of those.
Thank you, guys. You have officially rounded all the bases. But now, moving from the baseball diamond to the football field, the Raiders hosted the Bears last Sunday in an upsetting 25-24 loss when Carlson's kick was blocked by the Bears as the clock hit 0. Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions, moving his total to 6 on the season, the most of any quarterback so far. But let's move our focus on the QBs, who are having a great start to the season. Ariel, tell us who your most impressive quarterback is through the first 4 games.
Thank you, Maya. And Justin, how'd you change so fast?
What can I say? I'm just very good at everything I do. Yeah.
Well, you know who else is very good at everything he does? Dak Prescott. So that's going to be my pick. Before I get into him, I am going to shout out Jackson Dart. I mean, first game, right? He loses his wide receiver 1, Neighbors. And that hurt me for fantasy, but that hurts also as a fan. I'm not a Giants fan, of course, but to see your wide receiver 1 go down, Neighbors especially, that sucks, right?
And we've seen that before on MetLife Stadium, that absolute terrible turf. But yeah, it was resilient by Jackson Dart. I'll commend you on that one. Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play amazing lights out, but he did what he did to beat a 3-0 team with Justin Herbert, who has been playing lights out. He's playing MVP right now, right? So I'm going to give an honorable mention to Jackson Dart, but my pick, definitely Dak Prescott. I mean, that game against the Packers, let me say this real quick. The Packers were a top 3 defense accordingly to everyone else, right?
Sure.
The Cowboys had one of the worst defenses. And they both put up 40 points against each other.
Yeah.
All right. Dak Prescott is the number 1 reason why the Cowboys are even in a contention in that game. So, in my opinion, at this point, how can you not say Dak's one of the top 5 quarterbacks? I mean, he has 1,119 passing yards.
Yes, and 1,119 passing yards, all for one little win. And quite frankly, yeah, sure, Dak has been playing better than I expected him to play, those yards, man, if they ain't leading to wins, I don't know about that. You got Javonte Williams having a breakout season, and even with that, the best running back that Dak has probably played with since prime Zeke Elliott, and he still can't get wins.
Let me stop you right there. We know exactly where the Cowboys' defense and offense is both ranked respectively. Dak has the Dallas Cowboys offense ranked as number 1, and their defense is the last in the NFL. If that doesn't tell you everything that you need to know right there alone, then I don't know what to tell you as a fan. If you can't see what you're seeing,
it tells me that Jerry Jones is a terrible owner, and quite frankly, that Dak Prescott,
how do you hold that against Dak, though?
How am I going to hold it against him? Because I understand CeeDee Lamb dropped a lot of those passes in Week 1. Quite frankly, didn't look as good as he did. But even then, if you look at the stats from Week 1, Jalen Hurts had a 94.2 passer rating. Dak only had a 76.6. They're both playing out of the elements. They're both playing in the rain through the rain delay, and that's why for me, that Jalen Hurts has been my most impressive quarterback through 4 weeks in the NFL. Any thoughts?
That's a horrible pick.
I feel like it's a horrible pick. I mean, if you just look at Jalen Hurts' stat lines, what was the highest passing yards in one game?
I don't care about passing yards. I care about wins. And quite frankly, he has 4 wins. Dak has 1. And once again, going back to passer. Yes.
Let me ask you one question.
Sure.
If you're going to use that as your argument, would you say that Lamar Jackson's season has not been impressive just because they have 1 win?
No, I would not say that. I would say that he has been having a very, very good season, but his defense is really letting him down.
Right.
But
we're talking about quarterbacks, not the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cowboys are not the number 1 team right now, of course. But Dak Prescott is, maybe not number 1, but he is a top 5 quarterback within these first 4 games, easily. Better than Jalen Hurts.
I simply can't
let's not
agree
look at Jalen Hurts stats. Let's look at A.J. Brown's. I mean, I don't have him here with me, but we know he's not making that production that he should be making. Same with Devonta Smith, and that's because of Jalen Hurts. He's not. They're not running the offense like they should.
Yes, but that is not because of Jalen Hurts. That is because of Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, who really has been. You can look at the route trees that Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown have been running. They've been terrible. What do you want Hurts to do? Go out there and run the routes himself? He cannot control that offense. He's better off just going up no huddle every play and just doing whatever he wants.
Let me interrupt this NFC East back and forth, and let's pivot to the AFC East. My pick for most impressive quarterback, personally. Now, I understand that saying most impressive quarterback, you can say either best, but personally, I say most surprising is impressive for me. And that would be Daniel Jones. So far this season, he's 87 for 121, 73 completion percentage, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And he has been one of the most surprising quarterbacks so far this season. And I feel like, given the circumstances of where he's coming from the Giants, looking as a quarterback that was dead in the water, his career seemed to be over. There was no hope for him to come into Indianapolis in a situation that's not the greatest at all. He's not walking into a stellar situation. To be able to perform the way he has, I feel like that has to be the most impressive quarterback so far.
I'll commend you. He's been playing better than I thought he did. But to say most impressive, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, you saw what he did when he finally played a real team in the Rams last week. Yeah, he was fine. Of course, Adonai Mitchell kind of screwed him over a little bit.
Yeah.
But, and he's had a fine situation. Pittman and Downs are still 2 really good receivers. Jonathan Taylor is arguably a top 5 running back in the National Football League. And Tyler Warren has been a really good tight end, and they still have that offensive line. I think he's performing about as I expected, probably a little better. But
really, you think Daniel Jones is playing as you expected? I think everyone expected him to play like he did with the Giants. Horrible.
Yeah, the situation he's in so much better.
Yeah, it is better, but you got to give him credit. I mean, no one expected him to be like this. And yeah, that last game really did mess it up for him. But before that game, bro, everyone was like, oh, he's going to be the MVP.
Playing against the 1-3 Texans and the 0-4 Titans.
What about Josh Allen's, though? Because Josh Allen has played, his opponent's record is 1-13.
It's true, but...
So you can't hold
But would you consider the Ravens the average 1-3 team?
Well, no, but you only play who's in front of you. I mean, you can't hold against Daniel Jones that he's playing bums. Like, he did play a good team. He didn't do so good.
I would say he's not necessarily playing bums because he's definitely played a solid team in Denver, a defense anchored by PS2, a Defensive Player of the Year caliber player, and he had 316 yards and 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, like you love to say, he won the game. So if you really
would have lost the game if that guy for Denver didn't jump over that line of scrimmage during the field goal.
I mean, if you want to say that, then Jalen Hurts would have 2 losses if it wasn't for his special teams.
You make a good point. However, in all 4 of those games, Hurts had a higher passing rating than the opposing quarterback. And may I add, these quarterbacks are not your average Daniel Jones. This is Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Baker Mayfield.
But at the same time, he has the best defense out of any quarterback that he faced. And I would argue that a couple of those games could have definitely went the other way, especially with the way they ended, specifically with that field goal block to end the game. I feel like you guys definitely got away with one. And I feel like it definitely hurts your argument if one play goes the other way. And I feel like that shows the volatility of why you can't only point at wins as your argument, in my personal opinion.
Sure, but I still think what Hurts is doing, I mean, you look at the sack rates. Dak is at a career low 3.5% right now, and that's very, very good. Hurts is over double that at 7.5%. He's not getting the time and the routes and the coaching that Dak is.
Would you say that he's not getting the time, or is Dak better at getting the ball out? I mean, you seen what Micah said just last night. He was saying if Dak wasn't on his A game, he would have had multiple sacks, and that's the absolute truth. If you turn on the film and you look at what Dak's doing, he's getting the ball out on time. He doesn't delay with his passes. I understand this OC situation for Jalen Hurts isn't the greatest. I understand that. But at the same time,
I mean, hey,
he
how
still
long has
has
Dak
an amazing
had to deal with
supporting
that?
cast, and Dak has had to deal with that for plenty of years of his career, and you guys cut him no slack
No
whatsoever.
slack. When we had Kellen Moore, bro, no slack for Dak.
And you know who won the Super Bowl while Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles? That was Jalen Hurts winning Super Bowl MVP.
Bro, we're talking about this season, though. These first 4 games, you have to give it to Dak. I mean, we're talking about quarterbacks who expected to do good, except for Daniel Jones. But there's some other ones who are impressive who we didn't really expect. Like, well, I think people expected Baker Mayfield to be good, but he's really showing clutchness out there. I got to give him props. Like I said, Jackson Dart. So there's a lot of people.
There is a lot. A guy that actually has maybe not surprised me, but I thought he was going to be out for at least the first couple of weeks with Matt Stafford. You know, his back injury was a question all offseason. He comes in, he's looking like prime Matt Stafford throwing to Megatron. He's really impressed me.
I would say another guy that has impressed me, the other end of that trade, Mr. Jared Goff, 74 completion percentage, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and most importantly, he's first in the NFC North, which is, as we know, a vaunted division. I feel like if he didn't have the poor game he had week 1 against Green Bay, he would 100% been my pick as of now, because he's just commanded that offense. You know, Ben Johnson just upped and left to Chicago, and despite that, there is no drop-off. And
so you're going to give credit to Goff for the offensive coordinator change. How about Jalen Hurts having 6 different offensive coordinators in his 6 seasons?
Well, this can go back and forth all day, like the Packers game and the Cowboys. But I'm gonna say Dak.
Fans are.
Well, I'm gonna say Dak. You know, who played under Dan Mullen, so it only makes sense, right?
And that's the final whistle on that discussion. Thank you guys. But let's skate on over to Kyle Sparrow and Nate Olson, our dynamic duo for NHL.
Thanks, Maya. I'm Nathan, that's Kyle, and we're that dynamic duo she was talking about. Now, hockey is less than a week away, and even though we're not in the regular season yet, stories are already coming out from the league, and it's some pretty shocking stuff, Kyle.
Yeah, leading off, Kirill Kaprizov, franchise player for the Minnesota Wild, signing the richest contract in history, $18 million, 7 years, $136 million. I mean, they kind of needed to because, you look at last season and they kind of didn't have the greatest playoff run. Your team, the Vegas Golden Knights, stunned them. I don't think they should have won that game. I don't think they should have won that series.
Yeah.
But, looking at their team, Kirill the Thrill kind of needed to sign him.
Yeah, it's the thrill, man. I mean, I will say he deserves the money. There's no question about it. I mean, he's the franchise player over there. He's when healthy, which is the big thing. And I was joking with some people that, when he actually signed the contract, he went on IR for a wrist injury. You know? When he's healthy, though, I mean, he's an absolute stud, and he deserves this money. The question is now for the league. Other athletes are going to look at this and be like, well, if Kirill's making this money, I can make this money. Especially a lot of people that are on contract year, like you brought up the Knights. Jack Eichel is going on to his contract year, and he just beat him, like you said. So why is he not walking to Kelly McCrimmon, the GM for the Vegas Golden Knights, going into his office and be like, hey, I want 8 by 18. I want an extra million. What's stopping these players? the good thing for the NHL right now is that the cap is increasing. So the cap space is increasing. Players are allowed to get more money, and we're starting to see, deals where I think Krill is going to be kind of like the start of the avalanche, kind of going down the hill. No pun intended. Nathan McKinnon is going to get paid some money too.
But the one thing that we look at is Kirill's pretty young. Like, he is one of the younger guys in the league. And, you look at other guys that are, like, similar, like Sebastian Aho for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You look at even Natchez for whichever team he's on, because he had one heck of an offseason. But, you look at these younger guys, and, you look at Kirill. There's the same skill level, and he's getting paid that much money.
Yeah.
He's making almost Connor McDavid money.
Yes.
Similar, and going on to Connor McDavid, we don't even know what he's going to do.
He is going to take all of the money from the Oilers.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be like a highway robbery. I mean, don't get me wrong. He deserves it by all means, but I mean, the Oilers are going to be left with peanuts to give to the rest of the people. I mean, it's going to be insane how much money he's going to be asked for, but it's just kind of this new, changing of the league, I think. I think we've kind of seen it grow over the last few years. We could both agree that viewership has gone up, revenue for the league has gone up, so the cap space has gone up, which is good. These players deserve to get paid more. I think no one's upset that these people are actually making money that they deserve. We used to joke all the time that Connor McDavid is making around $12 million a year, which is the average annual income of a backup quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's
crazy.
right? It's like Geno Smith is making more than him, and he's throwing how many interceptions a game? So these players deserve money, especially for playing at the top of their game. It's just going to be interesting of how the fringe guys and the third and fourth liners are going to start making their money if all these top players are taking huge chunks of the cap space.
And sometimes those third and fourth liners are the most important to the team. You look at kind of the Golden Knights. You have Keegan Kolazar on that fourth line, and other kind of enforcer players on the fourth line. For example, the Wild, Marcus Foligno.
Yes.
He had an interesting comment about Kirill Kaprizov's pink eye.
Yeah.
But you just look at those role guys. They mean sometimes more to the team than those top guys. Like, obviously, it's good to have those top guys, but enforcers, they create momentum for the team, fights. It's just those enforcers, as you said, they should also get some of the love, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's the hard thing though is that they aren't the ones that are being put onto billboards, onto the marketing and stuff. So it's like, sure, people love Marcus Foligno if you are either an avid watcher of the NHL or are a Minnesota fan. Outside of that, people are going to be like, who is that guy, right? Like, that guy's not important at all. That guy scores, a goal every, 6 to 10 games. Like, he's not that important. But it's like those intangibles that these other, like, bottom line players bring. Big thing that's talked about cup runs during the playoffs is, how good's your depth? Do you have enough, solid athletes from top to bottom to be able to produce at a high level? And it's going to be interesting to see how everything kind of shuffles out in the coming years.
Yeah, I think depth is probably what separates good teams from great teams, because, we saw that the Florida Panthers, they had depth at pretty much every single position, and the Edmonton Oilers, they couldn't keep up at all. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, Alexander Barkov has a knee injury, not going to play for the rest of the season, or for this season, rather. Same with Matthew Tkachuk. He's not ready to go for a long time this season.
Yeah.
The Florida Panthers are kind of hurting right now.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Barkov is one of those guys that, like, no one really hates. Everyone kind of
he's
a nice guy. He's a nice guy on the ice. He's a good, skilled player. Seeing him go down in a contact during practice, it was like a knee-on-knee thing. It wasn't avoidable, wasn't on anything out of spite, in Florida. So there's nothing bad happening there. But, I mean, if you're a Florida Panthers fan, you're like, what is our luck? I mean, that's two of our top players that are out for the year. Tkachuk will come around, but, I mean, he's going to miss, like, half the year. Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, you're like, well, I mean, our playoff chances are already at 0. I mean, they have good depth, but it's like you're missing your 2 star players. And then to add on for Barkov, I really do feel for him because he's going to miss the Olympics, which is going to be a very, very big event for a lot of NHL players this year. Being able to represent the country, we saw it a little bit last year, but now actually going to the Olympics, and Barkov unfortunately won't be able to do that.
Yeah, I would say that Four Nations tournament was arguably one of the best.
Yes,
one of the best things
really
I ever
was,
watched.
yeah.
USA, Canada, final game. three, 4 fights in the first
Man.
10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, nothing like beats national like team
Yeah.
hockey, especially these top players going at it, because like a lot of sports really don't show this. Maybe basketball a little bit in the Olympics. I'll give them a little credit there, but they really don't fight as hard for like national pride as these teams do. A lot of players in the NHL even now play for the name on the front, for the logo on the front, not the name on the back, you know? And it's going to be pretty fun to see how the Olympics shape out this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to, if it's anything like the Four
Oh,
Nations,
man.
if it's anything like the Four Nations, it is going to be arguably one of, if not the best tournament we've ever watched.
Yes,
I think.
absolutely. I think this is going to be one of those years where NHL makes that big leap into like mainstream. People are watching it every day type of event, kind of like basketball, because people watch the Olympics, you know. I'll sit down during, you know, either summer or winter and watch, you know, beach volleyball. Like, I'm not watching that any other time of the year, but when it's on, I'll watch it and I enjoy it. I think people will watch that with hockey and then all of a sudden fall in love with players, you know, teams, and then be like, oh, you know, I live in Vegas, I'll be a fan of the Golden Knights. Oh, I live in Buffalo, oh, I'll follow the Sabres now, you know?
And, you know, credit to the NHL because it was a kind of a decision, not like a last-minute decision, but, you know, they've had the All-Star game for so long. And I felt like, yeah, you have the skills competition. Yeah, it's a fun sort of way of giving back to the fans and the community. But I personally think that what they did with the Four Nations was perfect. The jerseys looked amazing. The competition level was arguably the highest it's ever been. And the big thing was those players, they put their bodies on the line.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't care about regular season. It was just go
I won't
time.
lie, I was a little upset because Shea Theodore, defenseman for the Vegas Golden Knights, got hurt in that game, broke his wrist, and he was out for a couple months. And don't get me wrong, I was upset. I was like, oh, well, you know, that's kind of screws over our team. We're still trying to fight for a good seeding in the playoffs and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, it's, you know, casualty of the game, right? Like, it's like you kind of like to see that still. I would much rather see that, and then unfortunately, like, my team not do so good for some months than watching an all-star game where these players are just like doing nothing basically. And we've seen in the NBA and the NFL with their Pro Bowls and pro type events kind of going down in viewership and stuff because it's not entertaining. They're just kind of, you know, messing around. All right, Kyle, one last thing to go through. So season starting not too long from now. Stanley Cup prediction now before the start of the season. Who do you got?
You know, everything would want to say my Buffalo Sabres, but, you know, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Come on, guys. I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Sabres fan. It's rough out here, you know? It's very, very rough. So I'm not gonna sit here and say the Buffalo Sabres are gonna make the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. I'm not gonna do that. Realistically, I think that with everything that's happened this offseason, I would like to see the Rangers. I'm not just saying that because New York team, but I would like to see the Rangers finally get over that hump. You know, they didn't have a great last season. You know, Shesterkin got paid that a large amount of money, did not have the best goalie season. But I would like to see the Rangers and then even the Knights too. Like, do I not like some people on their team because they're from Buffalo? Yes. But the Knights arguably they have some of the best players on their team. I think with Mitch Marner, it's gonna be very tough to kind of discredit them.
My own personal bias is obviously cheering for Vegas this upcoming season. I would say Vegas, but I see some glaring issues. You know, our defense is missing some key pieces. I do think it's still going to be fun to watch Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel kind of slice up the ice and make some wicked plays. I think they'll make playoffs. I don't think a team that goes 7 out of 8, you know, in their franchise doesn't make it another year. They're just kind of built for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Vegas wins it. I'm actually going to say it's going to be a Canadian team.
Really?
Yeah, this is kind of big. This is going to be the first time in some years that a Canadian team's won it, and I am going to give it to the Oilers.
Really?
The Oilers are going to get it done this year. They've got it. They were there last year. They were there the year prior. Couldn't win it, but I don't think they're going to be facing Florida this year. So I think the Oilers are going to go back and they're going to win it all.
I don't hate that pick.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I don't hate that pick.
Well, that's all of us today on the NHL hockey edition of the Huddle. Thank you for everything, and catch you next week, guys.
Thank you guys for your absolute knowledge on the ice, but that is it for our episode of the new and improved The Huddle. Make sure to tune in every Friday because we have more content coming your way. Make sure to follow us on socials, but as for now, I'm your host, Maya Perez, and those were my lovely guests. Thank you.